Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone, myself Kunja Rabia, and we will be starting with our first video lecture today, that is on the subject of organization of commerce and management. You all dear students are not new to this subject. You have very well knowledge about what is management, about what is commerce, and about what is organization of commerce and management. In your 12th standard, you will be studying more about management, its functions, and principles of management. That is your first chapter. The first chapter of Standard 12 is Principles of Management. But before that, I would like to give you a quick revision about what you all have studied in Standard 11. In Standard 11, we have basically studied what do you mean by business. And when I ask you the question, what do you mean by business, it should start echoing in your mind that business is nothing but an economic activity. Any activity that involves buying and selling of goods and services for the purpose of earning money. And we have also studied in Standard 11 about various organizations of business, forms of business organizations like sole trading concern, joint Hindu family business, partnership firm, joint stock company. And we have also studied that in order to run these forms of business organizations, we need to have proper management. Proper management. What is management? We are all very aware about the term management. This term is not new. We have already studied in Standard 11 about what is the meaning of management, what are the levels of management, whether management is an art or a science, or management is a profession. So, in order to give you a fresh start, we would like to start again with the very basic concept of management. So, in today's lecture, we are going to study what is management, what is principles of management, what are the nature of principles of management, and the significance of management. So, we are starting with what is management. Management is a process of getting things done through others with the objective of achieving organizational goals effectively and efficiently. What am I stressing on? Effectively and efficiently. There is one more point in this meaning that is important, that management is a process. Process. What do you mean by process? Process means step by step taking actions. Like, management is not just a 1 minute thing. You have to take steps, you have to understand, you have to plan, you have to organize, you have to direct, you have to coordinate, you have to control. All these things that I am telling you, planning, organizing, controlling, directing, coordinating, all these things constitutes to the functions of management. Management is not only planning that I have to do this, I have to do my homework. That is not management. How am I going to do my homework? Who is going to help me with my homework? And how will I coordinate with other people? All these things constitutes managing. Then management is a process. A manager has to conduct a series of functions in order to manage things, in order to manage his own business. So management is a process. What process? Process of getting things done through others. When I say it is a process of getting things done through others, it means it involves other human, and it involves human behavior which keeps on changing. This is a point to be considered for later. Management is a process of getting things done through others with the objective of achieving organizational goals effectively and efficiently. Now the two terms, effective and efficiency. Effectiveness and efficiency are the two sides of one coin. Both of these things comes hand in hand. If there is no effectiveness, there is no efficiency, and there is no use of efficiency if there is no effectiveness. And if there is no efficiency, there is no use of effectiveness. Now, what do we mean by effectiveness? Effectiveness means completion of work effectively. Like if I am assigning you a task to complete your homework, then if you are completing your homework, I would say you were effective in doing your work. But if I say that you have to complete this homework in 1 hour and you are completing that homework in 2 days, can I say that you are efficient? No, you are not efficient, because you are not doing your work, because you are not completing your work in the best possible way, in the best resources. Time is also a resource. You are not using your resource perfectly. Another example I would like to give: if I assign two people, Mr. A and Mr. B, with some work, that I want to get stationery from the shop which is 1 kilometers or 2 kilometers away from my office. Mr. A immediately removes his motor car and drives and comes back with the stationery. Is he effective? Yes. Is he efficient? Maybe. Now, what does Mr. B do? Mr. B thinks that the stationery shop is very close by. Why do I need to remove my motor car? I will use the bicycle. And then he uses his bicycle and he goes on the bicycle and comes back and gives me the stationery. Then, is he effective? Yes. He also completed his task. Is he efficient? Yes, because he used the resources properly, because he did not waste any resource. He did not waste any resource of business. So do you understand the difference between effectiveness and efficiency, and also understand why it is important to get the work done effectively and efficiently? Work can be done anyway by anybody, but doing it in the best possible way is an example of a good management. Definition of management: according to Henry Fayol, to manage is to forecast and to plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate, and to control. In the meaning only, I have explained you that there is a series of steps. Management is a process wherein a person forecasts, a person plans, a person organizes, a person commands, a person coordinates and controls. A very basic example can be given here with the help. We all know that our mothers, they work continuously. So when a mother wakes up in the morning and decides to cook a meal, she plans, what am I going to cook today? Then she organizes, what are the ingredients that I require in order to cook this meal. Then if there is a lack of any ingredient, she commands people to get that ingredients, or she commands her children or the maid to do certain works. She assigns work, that one will be cutting vegetables, one will be cooking meat, one will be doing this, one will be doing that, and then she coordinates and checks whether everybody is doing their work rightly or not. That is management in a very simple term, in a very simple language. I hope I made it clear what do you mean by management. This management has certain features, such as management is pervasive. That means it is present everywhere. It is universal. It is found in all forms of business organizations. Whether it is a business organization or a school or a hospital, it is everywhere. Management is goal oriented. What is the main focus of conducting management activities? Why does a person plan, organize, control and coordinate? In order to achieve one specific goal. The goal should be determined first while conducting management. Management is a continuous process. It does not stop. If one task is complete, you put up all your energy and your effort in continuing and conducting business and in conducting and achieving another task. Continuous process. As long as a business organization is running, management will have to run with it. It is a continuous process. You cannot say that I have achieved a target of making 5,000 units of a product. Now my management is done. No, if you are a manager, if you are a production manager, you have to conduct all the production activities as long as the organization is conducting. I'll give you an example of a sole trader. A sole trader, we all know that a sole trader is a one-man show. He owns, controls, manages business by himself. So if a sole trader is also the manager of his organization, so if a sole trader is first procuring raw materials, then he have to manage the people, he have to contact the people and get the raw materials procured by transportation. Is he done with his work? No. Now he have to sell his products. Now he have to manage how will he do the selling price, cost price, and how will he get the profit. Then after selling the product, now he'll have to manage his finance. So management is continuous process. It keeps on occurring as long as the business enterprise is running. Management is a group activity. One single person cannot conduct management, because we have said in the definition that management is an art of getting things done through others. That means a group of people. It is a group activity. It is a dynamic function. It keeps on changing from person to person and individual to individual. We have also studied about various levels of management. There are 3 basic levels of management, that is top level management, middle level management, and lower level management. The top level management conducts board of directors, chief executives, and general managers, which formulates the policies of the business. It is also called as administrative level. Then the middle level management consists of production manager, sales manager, marketing manager, etc., etc., and they are executive levels of management. And the last level of management is foremen, supervisors, superintendent, etc. Now coming to what are the principles of management. We have studied what is management. Now we'll be studying what do you mean by principle. Principles are defined as a fundamental truth or proposition that serves as the foundation for a system of belief or behavior or for a chain of reasoning. I'll explain you in a very simple language that principles are a set of guidelines, are a set of instructions. They are not rigid rules. Like if you are playing a game, there are some rigid rules that no, one cricket team should have 11 players only. That are strict rules. And then there are certain other rules in games, like anything you could say. You have all played sports and known sports. The sports have specific rules and you have to follow the rules. If you do not follow the rules, you will lose the game. But principles are not rules. They are not rigid. They are guidelines. They are for helping the manager. They are for helping you in order to conduct your activities. So in simple words, a principle of management are broad and general guidelines for decision making. It helps the manager to make decisions. Like you will be studying in detail about 2 very great people in this chapter, Mr. Henry Fayol and Mr. Frederick Winslow Taylor, and the principles formulated by these 2 great management gurus. But you will study, when you study, it will come to know that these people experimented their principles, and then these people experimented and then they formulated the principles. But they did not say that these are the rules of management. They said these are the principles of management. You can use them as guidelines in decision making. If a manager is having certain problems, he will open up the 14 principles of Mr. Henry Fayol and decide which principle of management will be applicable in this situation. Okay, so principles of management are broad and general guidelines for decision making and influencing the behavior of the managers. Coming forward to what are the natures of principles of management. The very first, nature. When I say nature, you mean nature, features, characteristics, they are all one and the same thing. So, what are the features of principles of management? Same. Very first nature of principles of management is universal application. That principles of management can be applied to all types of organizations irrespective of the size and nature, whether it is a sole trading concern or a joint stock company, a small sole trading concern or a big joint stock company. It does not matter. It is applicable to all business organizations, but the results may vary. That means, I'll give you an example. There is one principle of management which focuses on centralization and decentralization. So you have to consider which principle should be applied in which organization. If you are a small organization, you would be focusing on centralization, taking all the powers in your own hand. But if it is a very big organization, it would be difficult for the board of director, for the owner of the business to control the entire business, so he will focus on decentralization. And these principles can be modified as per the changing situations. Also, they are not only applicable to all types of business organizations, they are also applicable to all the levels of management, top, middle and lower level of management. Like a top level management executive or board of director may use certain principles of management, like may use certain principles of management in order to get the work done from the middle level management, and the middle level management will use other principles of management in order to get the work done from the lower level management. General guidelines. I have already explained you in the meaning that management principles are not rigid. They provide general guidelines in tackling the organizational situations wisely, as well as in solving the problems. If you have no idea what people have done in the past, what were the principles, what were the guidelines they have followed, it would be very difficult for you to conduct managerial activities. So it helps the manager to look at the past decisions of the managers, and you have to understand that if XYZ manager followed this principle of management in this situation, I can also use that principle of management. For example, if you are not able to get the work done from the people, then you will open up the principles of management and you will read that a very basic principle of management is division of work, and then you will realize that yes, I can also get the work done if I divide the work between people. I do not have time, but I have people, so I divide the work between the people. This he got to understand because of the general guidelines, because of the principles which were formulated by the managerial people. Which management principles are to be applied depends on the situation, size and nature of organization. I've already explained this point, that what I have said you that Mr. Henry Fayol have formulated 14 principles of management. Then it is up to you which one principle or two principles you want to apply in the current situation, and which principles can be used in the further situations, depending on the size, situation and nature of organization. Principles are formed by practice and experiments. These principles, which are formulated by the managerial people, they are not formulated in one day. It didn't happen like one day Mr. Henry Ford woke up from his dream and he said, no, I'll make 14 principles. No, he have done research, and he have done a thorough research, and he have actually applied his 14 principles in his organization and have realized that they have helped him in order to achieve better results. Similarly, Mr. F.W. Taylor have done scientific management, they have done research and development, they have done thorough research on the scientific principles of scientific management. Okay, the management principles are developed gradually with thorough research work. Systematic observations and experiments are conducted before developing them. Mr. Henry Fayol used division of work, used fair remuneration in his own organization, and he realized that when I divided the work between people, I got better results. And he realized that when people are being paid fairly, they tend to work for your organization with more loyalty. The results of such experiments have been developed as principle after its practice in the organization. Flexibility. Flexible. You know what is flexible? It can be changed easily. They are not rule of thumb that once it is said, it is said. No. You can change it as per your requirement. It may also happen that one single principle is not applicable in two different situations. Like, for example, I have spoken about one principle of management, that is fair remuneration, paying your employees fairly. If an employee is not satisfied with the work, he is not satisfied with the working condition, no matter how much money you give it to him, he is not ready to work for your organization because he feels that you are not providing him with better facilities. So fair remuneration won't be applicable over here. Similarly, fair remuneration, I would like to explain with an example. If there is a person who goes on a strike, if your employee goes on a strike and he demands for something, so you apply the principle of remuneration and you increase his remuneration. He is satisfied now, he is working for your organization, but again after a month he goes on a strike. And this time, even when you are increasing his salary or you are paying him according to his work, he is not ready to work for your organization. Why? Because he feels that your organization is not ethical. For example, because he feels that your organization is not providing him proper health facilities, because he feels unsafe at your organization. No matter how much money you give him, he won't be able to work for you. So the principles of management have to be changed according to the changing circumstances. Management principles can be adjusted or modified, can be used in the organization according to its need, as per the requirement of the organization, as per the requirement of the situation. Management principles have to be applied and they can be changed accordingly. Behavioral in nature. We know that management is an art of getting things done through others. We know that management is a group activity. It involves a series of behavior, a series of human behavior, and human behavior keeps on changing. A human behavior keeps on changing. A person wants something sometimes, and a person does not want that same thing the other time. So you have to know what is the thing that is required at that time, and you have to apply the management principles and get the work done from him. Management aims at achieving certain goals through a group of human beings. Management principles are designed to influence human beings. These principles control a group of persons and direct them to achieve the objective. It involves a group of persons. I am a production manager. I have 10 people working under me. So these 10 people have 10 different minds. They have conflicts. It is my capability. It is the test of my capability how I get the work done from all of them together. So I have to consider the behavior of all these people before applying the principles of management. Cause and effect relationship. Principles of management are the basis of taking decisions. A manager refers to the principles of management before taking decisions, so they determine the cause or reason for particular effect. For example, A very basic example, payment of good wages and incentives help in increasing the output of the workers, or making effective advertisement increases the sales of the product. I am wondering, I have made a very good product, I am selling it at a very low price, but why are people not buying my product? Why are people buying the product of the other company which is selling it at a considerably high price? Then I realized that I have not made any advertisement of my product, and that other company have made billboards, newspaper advertisement and everything. So I need to make advertisement. So how did I realize this? When I made an advertisement and people responded to that advertisement and bought my product. So management principles are also cause and effect relationship. You do something and then you check out what is the effect of that something on the people. And the last nature of principle of management is all principles are of equal importance. All principles of management are of equal importance. There is no numbering, like this principle of management is the top principle of management, the very first principle is division of work, so it is of highest importance, and the last principle is scalar change, so it is of least important. No, all the principles of management are of equal importance. These are to be practiced simultaneously to get the best results, with some modifications according to the changing situations and the organizational needs. Then next topic is significance of management principles. What are the importance of management principles? Why are they important? The very first importance is that it provides useful insight to the manager. It provides a guideline to the manager. A manager, when he applies the principles of management, he understands what he is going to get. If a manager refers to past business activities and he realized that he was not able to get the efficient results, then he goes back and research on the various principles of management, and he comes back and applies those principles of management in his own organization. It helps him to get efficient results. So it provides an insight. It helps the manager in order to make certain decisions and get the work done. Second point is helpful in efficient utilization of resources. Human resource, money, manpower, machine, material. There are 4 M's of management: men, material, machine and money. All these 4 M's have to be utilized properly. A manager has to make proper use of money, material, machine and manpower in order to get the best result. And this he realized by conducting functions and principles of management. Scientific decisions. People have experimented, have done a thorough research and then came up with these principles of management. So you can rely on them that they are going to yield better results. Helps to coordinate and control. Coordination and controlling are the 2 basic functions of management, and a manager has to coordinate and control his organization, and this can be done again with the help of principles of management. The very last point is understanding social responsibility. A manager does not only work for his organization but also works for his stakeholders, the employees, the customers. They are also the stakeholders. The employees are basically here more important, because a manager gets the work done from his employees, so he cannot exploit his employees. These principles of management, and there is one principle of management that is that focuses on equity, equality. So that focuses on equity, that says that everybody should be given equal importance, and not equal importance actually. Equity means giving them the right that they deserve. If a person who is doing more work is getting less salary, that is not equity. If there are two people, one is doing more work and one is doing less work, and they are both getting the same salary, that is again not equity. Equity is giving people their desired, their what would you say, their equity is giving people what they deserve. So it helps the manager in understanding his social responsibility towards his employees. So that's it for today. We have already studied about what is management, what are the principles of management, what are the nature and significance of management. Thank you.